What if this never happened? Hey my hypelings, HMK here once again, and this is a brand new theory based on the timeline placement for Breath of the Wild. I said my last one was going to be my final one, given what we knew, but something creeped into my head when I was recording my last video, and if you guys watched it, you guys know what I'm talking about, and I'm about to just go full on like theory mode on this. It's going to be very unscripted, it's going to be very freeform, so I hope you guys enjoy this. Also, once again, gotta put in my plug, we are less than 1,500 subscribers away from 100k. If we hit that before March, giving away a Nintendo Switch. Let's get this, guys. We're so close. And also be sure to enter my existing Breath of the Wild giveaway. Everything you need to know is in the description box below. So, with the advent of the Game Informer interview with Shigeru Miyamoto and IG Onuma, something came into my head where he was asked if Breath of the Wild takes place after Ocarina of Time, and he said it does. So Breath of the Wild has been confirmed to take place after Ocarina of Time. Light spoilers. But when thinking about it, you know, at first I just brushed it off, and I'm like, okay, yeah, of course it's gonna come after Ocarina of Time. It could just be in any of the timelines. It could be adult, downfall, and child timeline, and then once again, you know, people debate and discuss and argue on what timeline it could be. But then I was thinking about something where a lot of people, you know, were thinking about like the reunification of the Zelda timeline. Of course, I don't believe that, but people were saying things along the line of, you know, the Zelda team getting rid of the timeline, and in that sense, they use Dragon Break timeline reunification as a type of, you know, way to do so. But I started thinking, I'm like, what if they just decide to go after Ocarina of Time in a singular timeline and just, you know, render the other timelines inert? But how will we do that? You know, the only way to do that is to find a way in order to dodge the timeline split. And we all know the timeline split after Ocarina of Time occurs when Link gets sent back to the past to relive his childhood, and then two timelines are left over from that, the child and the adult timeline. And of course, the downfall timeline is a very what-if timeline to see what happens to Hyrule if Link should fail against Ganon. And so that, you know, that's already kind of out of the picture in its own sense. So I was thinking to myself as I was recording the video, and then it just occurred to me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people were thinking this as well, just what would happen if Link decided to stay after the end of Ocarina of Time? Like, you know, Zelda's like, give me the ocarina, I can return you to your lost time, and you can regain your lost time, you know, because you were forced to grow up 7 years in the blink of an eye, and, you know, Link decided to go back. What if they decide to make another what if timeline in order to just straighten everything out and just not mess around with time, where Link decided to pass on Zelda's offer and decide to stay in the adult timeline, you know, so that way the eras that would come would not be without a hero. You know, it would not lead to the events directly to the Wind Waker, and you know, because after Ocarina of Time, when Link went back to the past and the adult timeline went on without him, Ganon came back and the hero was not there to stop him, and then that leads off to the Wind Waker. So what happens if Link decides to stay, and then, you know, his line of heroism is remembered? He does, you know, sire sons or daughters that become the hero in his place, and then by the time Ganon comes out, because they say it's many years after the seal that the sages made on Ganon started to weaken, and he came back. What if he came back and they were ready? You know, they had a hero ready for him, and that hero was Breath of the Wild Link. And they do say in the Wind Waker that Ganon returned in a red rage, and what Calamity Ganon looks like is a red rage. I mean, it's not out of the question, because Nintendo already did it before with a what-if timeline with the downfall timeline. The downfall timeline in itself entirely is a what-if timeline, like what if Link failed? This is what happened. So what if Link decided to stay? This is what happened. Breath of the Wild. And that would explain why the Rito tribe and the Korok tribe are there, because, like, you know, everything is side by side, because, you know, the Wind Waker produced those tribes, the Korok tribe and the Rito tribe, and if Link decided to stay, that is the adult timeline, but another version of the adult timeline where Link decided to stay, and, you know, certain things will still run its course, including the Koroks and the Rito, and then the Zoras will be there as well, and maybe even the Kokiri could be there as well, alongside the Koroks. Because the Great Deku Tree Sprout was in the adult timeline, and he's growing up to this new Great Deku Tree that we see in Breath of the Wild. Not only that, that would be perfect for the repeated attacks by Ganon that the Sheikah talk about. And the Sheikah would be intact because Impa would be there after Ocarina of Time in the adult timeline. Everyone will be there. They will be there in order to rebuild. They'll be there in order to see Ganon coming. When looking at it this way, this can explain why we have flavors from all other timelines in Breath of the Wild, because it'll all be intact. Hyrule will never be flooded. Hyrule could be in a very similar way to how it was in Twilight Princess in the Child timeline, and we could see all the markers from the Downfall timeline because Hyrule was intact in that own right. Not only would an act like this just straighten out the timeline completely so the timelines will stay unified, the act of the splitting of the timeline would never occur if Link decides to stay. And also that'll explain why all of this stuff from other timelines is in this Hyrule, because it could follow down that path of peace up until Calamity Ganon shows up and they'll have a hero ready to fight him. Like, this just clicked in my head when Aonuma said this game takes place after Ocarina of Time. And I'm like, okay, yeah, that's just the run-of-the-mill answer, but wait a minute. This would be the only way to do it, and this fits with everything that we've seen. It's insane. So it'll be Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, 4 swords, then Ocarina of Time. At the end of Ocarina of Time, Link decides to stay in the adult timeline, dodges the timeline split completely, continues into Breath of the Wild, and the timeline will be straight and unified and will continue on that way. So in that sense, Breath of the Wild could be the actual true sequel to Ocarina of Time. And honestly guys, this is a possibility that I can really get behind. And I really hope it happens now. Holy damn, I really... Like, when you piece it all together like that, I think it's great. I honestly believe this theory is very valid, and I believe that Nintendo is capable of doing it because they've done it before with the Downfall timeline, so they can just reunify the timeline this way by just completely dodging the split in Ocarina of Time by just having Link decide to stay in the adult timeline. And then time goes on, a new Link is there because Link never left that timeline, so his line of heroism continues, and then Calamity Ganon returns as the Ganondorf that was sealed in the Dark Realm from Ocarina of Time, and he still has the Triforce power. That's how he's able to attain the form of Calamity Ganon and destroy everything, but they had a hero in order to combat him. So although Hyrule did face an apocalypse, no flood, Hero is still there. We're playing as the hero after the Ocarina of Time hero, and Breath of the Wild could eliminate all the other timelines by eliminating the timeline split and become the first true sequel to Ocarina of Time in this brand new timeline that will be the actual true timeline, the intact one. Guys, let me know what you think about this concept, this theory, in the comment section below. I really believe this may be onto something. Let me know what you think. Be sure to subscribe to HMK. We're almost at 100K. Let me know everything, comments below, theories, thoughts, everything. Like, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. Until the next Zelda video, stay hyped, people, and I will check you guys later.